Hi guys, it's Emma.
And Maggie.
And welcome back to another episode of Love Ya Bye. Today we're going to be talking about relationships.
And Emma, I feel like you've gotten so many questions just about dating and what it's like dating in your 20s. Like if dating apps are worth it, first date stories. We're just going to share all of the dating and relationship advice that we've learned. I feel like you and I both have like such a different experience when it comes to dating because I have like been in long relationships like my whole life basically. And I feel like you have more experience like dating and like being with like different people, you know? So we're just gonna get into it. And I didn't mean to that in like a bad way, but you know what I mean? I just feel like I've been with the same person for like a long period of time. But we're gonna get into that. And I'm really excited because it's something that you guys, the listeners, have been asking about a lot. So we're gonna get into everything.
And it's also something that we never really share.
Oh yeah, for sure. I feel like it's something that I never talk about ever. So I'm excited to get into it.
I've never once talked about a single relationship.
I know, you really haven't. I feel like if anything, like nobody knows anything about like your love life. Other than like Green Hoodie Boy.
Stop, I'm freaking out. Okay, before we get into the episode, we're going to start off with our peak and pit of the week. This is our weekly tradition where we share the highest and lowest moments that happened to us this past week.
Do you want to go first? I feel like you had an exciting week.
Yeah, I had an exciting week, but I don't even know what to share about what my peak is.
Really? You have so many peaks?
I have so many peaks. I feel like I just had such a fun week. I have been with my best friend for the past, like, oh my gosh, maybe 5 days straight. This is so funny because I didn't vlog at all this trip. I pre-recorded videos, but her and I went on a trip from Sunday till we just got back last night. we had so much fun. We just like completely relaxed and enjoyed ourselves, and there's never a dull moment.
Never a dull moment, especially you and her driving with those hats in the pickup truck.
No, we drove a pickup truck around all day on Monday, and Ella drove around the truck, and we went to Bass Pro Shops. We went to, oh my gosh, I don't even know what we did. Oh, we went to Chick-fil-A, which was so good. It's like different in the South.
Yeah, okay, the Chick-fil-A in the South, I swear, is different than the Chick-fil-A that we have up here.
Yeah, it is. They also have styrofoam cups.
Yeah, and they have this this like peach sweet tea or something, and it's so good. It's like the best thing I've ever had.
That's what Ella got. And then we also got, they have some sort of breakfast where it's like little like biscuits with the little chicken nuggets inside.
Wait, I've never had that, but like biscuits and gravy?
So good. No.
Or like
not
a chicken
gravy,
biscuit
but it's
sandwich.
like biscuits with the little pieces of chicken inside. Yes. And they're mini. They come with 4 in a little thing, and they're so good. And then other than that, I feel like my peak, no, that was my peak. My pit would have to be, this is just the busiest season because holiday season's a lot, and also the holidays are really stressful for me. They give me a lot of anxiety. Some holidays are more normal than others. I feel like for me, at least, Christmas is a lot more normal than any of the other holidays we have. But since Maggie and I do have divorced parents, I always just get like a lot of anxiety around the holiday season. It's just like, I don't know, underlying anxiety with like things. It just creates a lot of stress for me for no reason at all. I don't even know why, because like we're fine now with having divorced parents. Like we fully have, like everything's good, but I just still get really anxious. So that's the only thing I've been dealing with. But other than that, all's been well.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like the holidays give me such bad anxiety too. And I feel like that would definitely be like my pit also, because everything else has been pretty good. But yeah, I've just been like having anxiety about the holidays because they just haven't really been the same since mom and dad got divorced. And it was like weird because they got divorced when we were so old. So it's not like we were like 5 or 6 years old and we grew up like having to go to like your mom's house or your dad's house. Like they got divorced when I was 21. Well, I had 21 years of just like spending every single holiday with our family. Like we did the same thing Christmas Eve, we did the same thing on Christmas. And then not that it's like a bad thing because everything's fine now. I just feel like stuff around the holidays just makes me feel anxious and just like stressed out.
Me
like
too.
I almost just
I don't know why.
Not that I don't want to spend time with family, but it's just like doesn't feel the same as it used to, and it doesn't have that same like spark. You know what I mean? Like the holiday spirit's like not there.
Such a family thing. It's like very happy and like so just like wholesome, but I feel like it's a little bit more anxiety filled because it's just not, it's change. Change is weird. Change is very hard.
It is. And also, like a lot of the time, I feel like, well, this is so normal for people to deal with, but just drama in your family. I'm not saying that there's any drama right now, so if anyone in our family is listening to this, don't come for me. But just in the past, like there has definitely been things that have come up where it's like, you know what I mean? Like there's always going to be drama in family, and like thankfully everything's good right now, but it's just like maybe people listening to this can relate. It's just like an uncomfortable thing, and like it's just something where I just am like, I don't want to deal with it. But anyway, my peak of the week. I think I would have to say that the other night, I forget how many days ago it was, I brought Milo to the beach and he was just so happy and he gets so excited to go to the beach and throw the ball. And I like take him off the leash and he just like runs and goes and gets the ball and brings it back to me. And like the sun was setting and it was like cold out and I had on like my puffer jacket with a little beanie and gloves. And it was just like, I don't know, I felt like very calm because obviously there's no one at the beach since it's winter. So it was just like me and him, and he was like running around with the ball and being so cute. And I just felt very like relaxed and I felt like I could like breathe and like the air was crisp and it was just like a really cute moment. It really made me happy because he was so happy. That's like makes his day. And doing things like with your dog, they never get out of the house unless it's like to go on walks or like when you bring them places, you know what I mean? So it's like they love doing stuff like that. And so
He's
it's just
so cute.
really happy. Yeah, he's literally the cutest. Okay, let's get on into the episode. Emma, I know that there are so many questions that have been sent in revolving around like relationships and all of that. And I think that we should just get right into it and spill all the tea. Well, as much as you wanna, you know what I mean? But I just feel like relationships is something that you've never talked about in your videos, and I always keep my relationships like super private, and I feel like that's just a side of us that our followers have never really gotten to see. Not that I'm like trying to ever hide anything from you guys, it's just can be really scary like having your whole entire life be public, and then like the one thing that I choose to keep private is my relationship. And it's just scary when like so many people can have like opinions on your relationship or think that they know your relationship. Like I see comments and stuff of people commenting on other people's relationships being like, oh, did you see the way that he looked at her? He hates her. Or you know what I mean? Like they make up these scenarios that are like not even true. So I feel like that's why you and I have just completely kept our relationships offline.
Yeah.
Just for like privacy. But we're gonna get into everything relationship related. To start off, what do you think the best way is to start dating and just putting yourself out there?
The best way to start dating and putting yourself out there. Well, for me, I have a different, I guess you can say, scenario because I didn't go to college. So it's not really hard, but it's a little bit harder for me to put myself out there and meet people because it's not like I have school where I go to school with like a bunch of people and I'm able to meet people every weekend. So I actually have to put the effort in of like going out. And even though like I don't love going out, like I'd rather stay in than go out, but if I want to meet someone, like I gotta go out. That's honestly nowadays like the only way you can really meet people. I feel like, I mean, unless you meet them in other ways, like passing like at coffee shops. Like one time I met a guy and I was literally in Sephora and like we ended up going on a ton of dates for a year. Like there's different ways I don't know, the best way to start dating and putting yourself out there. There's nothing to lose by putting yourself out there. Like if something doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. It's not meant to be. But also if you put yourself out there and something good comes out of it, then you're going to thank yourself later for doing it, even if you were scared. Another thing, I moved across the country and I completely had a whole new world of people to like hang out with and basically like choose from. So that was another way to kind of meet new people. And I was like going out and meeting friends, meeting a lot of friends through friends, and just going places, even if you don't want to. Like one of my really good friends, she would be like, Emma, like we have to go to this party. And she knows that I'm not like the biggest partier, but I'd be like, okay, fine, like let's go. It'd be like a Tuesday night and we would just like like get up and go. Like I ended up meeting some of my like really close friends or like guys that I ended up liking for a bit and stuff like that. And also another way to put yourself out there, I don't like to do this often, but if there's someone that you like or like someone that's like has a following or whatever, just slide into their DMs because everyone checks their DMs.
Yeah, that's honestly true. And I feel like so many, well, I mean, guys don't slide in my DMs, but I feel like for you, like a lot of guys DM you.
I really don't answer DMs, but if it's someone that I actually genuinely think that they are cute, like I will answer their DM. I've had one relationship out of someone who's DM'd me.
Who?
Who do you think?
The DJ?
No, he didn't DM me. We met in person.
Yeah, why am I not knowing who? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he straight out DM'd me like right after I had gotten out of like a really long situationship.
Your high school situationship.
No.
Oh, soccer. Who are you talking about, Emma? Give me a hint.
I don't want to say their name.
Yeah, you don't have to say their name. Give me a hint.
The TikTok kid.
Oh, TikTok. Okay, yeah. No, totally. Yes. If he never messaged you and you never responded, that was how many months? Like what? 8 months of you guys, like you guys had somewhat of a relationship, like almost dated and then hung out a ton and like you're still friends. And I just feel like, yeah, if he had never messaged you, nothing would have ever came from that.
Yeah, no.
But I agree. I feel like just being social, like there was a few months where I was single in between relationships and I just remember like always being like, oh my God, I don't even want to go out. That's the last thing I want to do because I'm not going to meet like a boyfriend at like a bar. You know what I mean? But I feel like it's the nights where you are just not really caring and just going and doing your thing, and you don't have to also think about like going out places to like meet somebody. Like just go out because you want to like genuinely have fun with your friends, or like you want to start going to a new workout class. And I really think like whatever's meant for you and whoever's meant to be in your life, like they are going to come to you and they're going to find you, and you really never know.
They won't pass you.
I don't think that anyone who's meant for you will pass you. But also, I know a lot of people do use dating apps, which I have never been on like a Tinder or Hinge or Bumble, like any of those. And I know you haven't either, but you've been on Raya.
I don't even know if we're allowed to say like Raya or talk about it.
They'll block it.
Like, I think you get kicked off if you talk about it. Which, like, even if I get kicked off, like, nor do I even care. Even if I do get kicked off of it, like, I have had it for, what has it been now, 3 years? But, like, I use it as, like, a joke. Like, I'm not actually gonna date somebody off of Raya. Like, I have it. I meet people. I've met so many friends through it, but I'm not gonna, like...
Remember in fall 2020, you matched with Pete Davidson? Like, come on!
I know. No, I know. It's like, it's so funny. Everybody's funny on it. And so my tip for dating apps would have to be just have fun with it. Don't take it seriously. I don't take them seriously. I literally just have fun with it. Like, I don't even answer people half the time, but like, I just have so much fun with it. And I don't think of it as like that deep or whatever, but you can really like meet cool people or like have fun and whatever. But dating apps that I think are the best, honestly. So I know a lot of my friends have been on like Tinder before, or they've been on Hinge. I don't really know many people who have been on Bumble, but in my opinion, I think that Hinge is the funniest because people can like put voice recordings on their profile.
Oh, so you can like see someone's personality.
Yeah, and I feel like it shows a lot more personality. For example, Raya, you get no personality. It's just a slideshow photos to a song, and it's just like so boring. But then Hinge, on the other hand, is like really funny. And I've seen profiles where like there's this one person that was like, sing your favorite song, and he literally sang like a YK Osiris song on his profile. Like that's hilarious. I would be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to marry you.
Yeah. And it's not just like him holding a fish or like with his friends.
He's being silly. Like, I just think that the less serious you take them, the more, I don't know, I feel like it's so fun to just like have fun.
Which city did you feel is better for dating? Because obviously you went and you lived in LA for a little bit, and now you're back in Boston where you lived obviously before you moved to LA. Like, where do you think the best like dating is? Because I feel like people shit on Boston guys, but at the same time, like...
People shit on LA too.
People shit on LA too. So I feel like you've been in two places where they just like shit on the guys.
Yeah, so for me, my honest opinion on what city is better for dating, LA or Boston, I think LA, if I'm being serious, because if I'm being completely honest, I think like Boston, it's just so hard to find people here. And if you find someone here, he's like an ex-frat boy who still thinks he's in a frat, still goes out every single night of the week, like has all his boys and is like loving life in that sense, which is great and cool, like fine, just not my type. Or you have like, I feel like every guy here is just like I don't know. It's just really hard. Boston is just very hard. But for me in LA, I feel like it's so easy because you have a mix of people. You have like the guys in Orange County who are super like surfer, like beach boys. Some of the guys that are like born and raised in LA are a little bit much. But LA is like a place where there's a bunch of people from all across the country or even the world. So it's all these types of people that you could meet, and there's a lot more variety there. Boston is just like the mass holes, like born and raised guys that are here around and they live outside of Boston or they're gonna stay in Boston. And
I feel like people in LA are like, guys in LA are very adventurous. Like, at least when you were hanging out with like certain people when you were living there, like you guys would go and do like the most random fun stuff. Like, remember when you like went to Malibu for the day and went and got sandwiches?
Yes, like,
you know what I mean? Like, there's just, they're very adventurous out there.
Like, I've had better dates and better experiences with guys dating in LA rather than guys in Boston. And I feel like every single guy that I've ever had something pretty serious with in the last 3 years has lived in LA or the California area or outside of LA. And so I haven't really dated a guy in Boston in the last 3 years. So I feel like I always tend to like go out there. It's a lot more fun. They're more fun. They know how to take a girl on a date and how to ask a girl on a date.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
They're not just like, let's go to Lincoln.
I feel like everyone in Boston goes to Lolita for dates. Like, come on.
Oh my God, yes, I went. Wait, I was dating.
You literally went to Lolita.
For a date. I know I did. I know that, but that guy, sweet guy, but like, we literally just like went to Lolita, or
You like went to the Broadway.
Or would go to the Cape. Like, it wasn't really crazy things, but you know, I don't know.
Yeah, so you're more of like an LA dater, and that's fine.
Yeah.
So what do you think, like,
sure.
when it comes to guys asking you out on dates, like, would you want them to initiate the conversation or want them to ask you out, or would you not mind like being the one to be like, let's go out, or like, let's go on a date?
Honestly, it depends on the person, because I've had guys who initiate the first date, not even just the first date, but any date, where they're like, okay, like, I'm picking you up at this time, we're going here, or like, I want to take you to this place, like, let's go to this place, like, get ready for this. But then I've also had guys that don't really know how to ask like a girl on a date, and I'll be like, we should go to this place for dinner, and like we would end up going, and it'd be like really fun, or like we'd go like on like a little coffee date and like go on a walk or something like that, because I was like, let's go get coffee and go on a walk, and then that ends up like being a little date. But honestly, I mean, I do prefer a guy asking me. I feel like it just, no matter what, a girl likes to be put on a pedestal, and they like to have the guy be like, let's do this, like, I want to bring you this, like, I want to, not saying like a guy has to buy you everything, but like, I want to buy you this, like, you know, it's like,
it's nice that he shows effort.
Yes.
And he puts the effort in, and you know that he is like going out of his way to plan something, and he's really thinking about it, putting thought into it, and caring.
I like feeling like
the guy cares. You like feeling...
Sorry. Yeah.
No, I feel like we were saying the exact same thing.
Yeah, I like feeling like the guy cares, and the guy just like actually genuinely wants to bring me on a date and like bring me places, and like wants to get to know me and hang out, you know?
Yeah, I agree. Oh, so when you go on the date and you sit down, you have your meal, you have a great time, you're talking, blah, 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 the check comes. I know that a lot of people talk about this, and there's like mixed emotions about it online. So like, what do you think about like splitting the check on the first date, or like the guy has to pay? Like, what are your thoughts? I feel like we've never talked about this before.
Well, every date I've been on, every first date I've been on, the guy has paid. And I think that if the guy asks you on the date, he should pay. That's just my opinion though. But if you initiate it and you're like, oh, like, let's do this, maybe split it. But I just think, like, the guy should pay for the first date. I don't mind paying, though. Like, I don't mind splitting or anything like that. I will do that. Like, I always offer, too. Like, I feel so awkward not offering. Even, like, all my friends that I've talked to, they're like, oh, like, the guy should pay on the first date no matter what.
I think so too. Like if the guy's asking you out on a date for the first time, like obviously I'm going to offer and be like, here's my card. Like we can split it just obviously because that's polite. But I do agree that if a guy is asking you out on the first date, like it would be nice of him to just pay for it. But he doesn't have to pay for every single one. That's the thing. It's like, I feel like a lot of the times so many girls are like, well, my boyfriend has to pay for everything. He needs to pay for every single date that we go on. But it's like, I feel like I make my own money too. I'm not just going to make him pay for me every single place we go to, you know?
And I also like to like buy stuff for the person that I love. Like I want to be able to do that for them, you know? Like if they're doing it for me, I want to do it for them. Not even like a way of like a trade, but more of like to show love.
And like to show them how much you like care about them.
Yeah.
I feel like you are like that.
And
way.
also like guys that I've like bought stuff for, like if I bought like them like a coffee or like bought them like lunch or something, they're always like, oh my God, like really? Like thank you. There's this one guy that I was with, and one time I literally paid for like his like lunch or like paid for something. And then there's this other time that I bought him a pair of shorts when I was like on my way, because I lived in Newport Beach at the time and I was driving up to LA, and I stopped at Kith because I was like, oh, like I'm gonna go shopping, plus like he's busy right now, like I'm gonna do my own thing and then go to his house. And I like bought him a pair of shorts because I walked in and I was like, these are so cute, they look so good on him. I got
shorts.
them, and I just show up and I was like, oh, like I got you like a pair of shorts. And he was like no girl that I've ever been with like has like just bought me something. Like they never would just like do anything like that for me. Like thank you so much, like this means a lot to me. Because like girls would just expect him to buy them stuff because I don't know.
And also I think that in relationships, like their social media definitely has made it almost like toxic in a sense, where people start posting stuff about relationships like the guy should be doing this, the guy should be doing this, like girls don't ever do this for your man. But it's like, first of all, the guy can't read your mind. So if you do stuff for him like out of appreciation, and like the guy that you bought the shorts for, like obviously he's gonna know how that made him feel and recognize it, and then like he'll start doing stuff for you. Like I think that it really does go both ways, and it should never be like only put on the guy.
Yeah, I agree.
So moving on to dating talk, like going on a date. What am I even saying? I want to talk about like your ideal first date, and maybe like tell a story about the best date or like your most favorite date you've ever been on, or any just funny stories, your favorite date, like a previous date. But first, you want to start with like your ideal first date?
Okay. Well, first of all, I don't know what my ideal first date would be, just because I think it depends on the person. It depends on what you and that person have in common. Because if it's a person that likes to like go to dinner and stuff, then going out to dinner, I love getting dressed up and going out to dinner. So that is also fun. But also if it's a person that's very adventurous, like doing something like going on a picnic or something adventurous is really fun to do. It just really depends on the person, your interests and their interests. What not to do on a first date would have to be like
sitting on your phone.
Ugh, I hate when people are on their phone on a date. Like I genuinely, it irks me so bad when a guy just sits there on his phone on a date. Not like it's ever really happened to me, but I have had guys that like I've been at dinners, not dates, but dinners with like my friends and the guy, and he'll be on his phone the whole time. And I'm like, get off of your phone. It's embarrassing for you to be on your phone the whole time. And for me, in front of all of my friends, that the guy that I like is on his phone. Like, put it down. Put your phone down.
Yeah, like if you can't put your phone down for an hour and a half.
It pisses me off. Like, it really pisses me off. That's one thing. And also another thing is like bringing up your ex, I guess, in like past relationships. I feel like that type of stuff you save for a few dates down the line. You can talk about like past things that you didn't like about past relationships. But the first date, that's just kind of like, okay, like stop talking about your ex.
Yeah.
And stop talking about the past.
Yeah.
Like let's save that for like date number 4 or like date number 5.
When we already like know each other and we're trying to like get to know more and and like talking about just like deeper shit. Like not when we first meet.
Yes, exactly.
What's the funnest date you've ever been on?
I am trying to think of the funnest date I've ever been on. Oh my God, wait, I'm like trying to think.
Remember that time that this was like back when I was single, when I was on a date and you were on a date at the same time, and then we met up after with our dates and we went to that rooftop bar.
That was really fun.
That was so fun. And we were like sitting in the booth
that was
all
fun,
together.
but like I did not like the guy.
I know. The guy that I was with, like, we're obviously still friends with him, but remember there was like drama. Like that was just like a funny night. I feel like that was cute that time that you were in LA and you went to that swing. The lookout.
Oh, that's one of that makes me so sad. That was probably one of my favorite. See, okay, that guy I just try to like block out of my life right now, and I'm like not thinking of anything him and I have done, but this is probably one of my favorite dates ever. Is it funny? There could be there is a funny part to this date actually. But I was in LA. This was like fall 2020. And I was there visiting one of my friends. I was living there at the time. And we had gone to this like party, and it was like Nobu literally catered this party at this house in Beverly Hills. It was the most insane thing that I've ever been to. Well, this guy was like, I really want to see you. I want to hang out with you. Like, and he was living down in like the Anaheim area at the time. And so he drove all the way, like, which is like an hour and like 30 to pick me up. We went to this lookout in the hills, and it was like this really, really pretty lookout. You just like overlook all of the city. You look over LA, you can see downtown LA from there, and at night you just see all the lights, and it was so pretty. And we just like sat there, and then we ended up, instead of like me going back to my friend's house because there was like no place for all of us to stay there, we went back to one of his friend's houses that was like in the middle of the boat, two of them, and his friend is also one of my really good friends, and we went back there. He also like didn't have a house at the time. He was staying with one of his friend's families, so like, and we go to his friend's house, and we made his friend sleep on the couch so that we could get like sleep comfortably
together.
So that was just funny.
That was funny. I mean, I feel like it's funnier also if people like know who the people are. Like if you know their personalities, like they're just so funny. But
it was so funny, but that was probably one of my favorites. I'm not sure if there's any like really funny stories. I was in LA and I went to dinner with this one guy, and we were leaving to go to this party, and we're walking out of this restaurant, The Nice Guy, and I don't think I've ever told you this. We were walking out of The Nice Guy, and you know those people that have like the flowers?
Yes.
They carry around like the flowers and they like give you a flower.
Oh
and
my God, I remember this.
Yeah, I've always wanted a guy to like buy me a flower off of like one of the flower guys. I didn't even say this to him. Like we just walk out of The Nice Guy, and it's like so hectic. And he like just like stopped the guy. He was like, oh, like let me get a few flowers. And he like bought me some flowers. He's like, here, like these are for you. I was like, oh my God, you're so cute.
That is really
And then
cute.
I just like carried the flowers around with me to all the little like restaurants that we went to and like clubs that we went to after.
That is so cute, and that's really like sweet and thoughtful that he did that, because I know that you've always wanted that. I'm trying to think of like any funny stories that I have. Why have I like not been on a lot of dates? I feel like because I've had 3 boyfriends.
Also, how are dates like? I don't have any like crazy like funny date stories. Like nothing's been like so crazy, you know?
I know, me either. Are we like boring daters?
No, it's like let me tell you, I have not been on boring dates.
No, I know that. I feel like there's nothing that sticks out that's like crazy and wild. I want to transition into talking about like advice for breakups and kind of like knowing when it's the right time to like end a relationship or how to like move on from it, because I know that you also like went through an ending of a pretty long like situation that you were in recently, and I went through a breakup last year. Okay, is it just me, or do you feel like when a girl breaks up with a guy or when a girl ends things with a guy, the girl like has known that she's wanted that for a really long time?
Yeah.
I swear the girl just like sits on it.
Yeah, they prepare themselves earlier than the guy obviously does, and they allow themselves to heal longer than the guy does. Sometimes, unless you hop into new relationships right away to like mask basically like feeling lonely and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I just think girls definitely prepare themselves a little bit more, and it's obviously, no matter what, it's going to be hard. But my advice would have to be surround yourself with your friends during the time of a breakup so that you don't feel lonely and you don't end up going back to old habits, because I have done that so many times where I've just like been bored and lonely and I'm like, wait, like I'm so sad, like I miss them, and like I end up just like going back to them even though I know it's not right for me, which I did for the last 3 years. Like I would still go back to one person because it was comfort and that's all that I knew for so long. But then I finally cut it off 3 months ago. And it was hard, but I know that I needed to do that to be able to find the right person and then like find new relationships and like actually be happy. But you just have to like really surround yourself with your friends or even new people to kind of just heal.
Yeah, and I'm really proud of you for ending that, because I know that it's something that was obviously back and forth bothering you for like a long time, and you really like chose yourself and you knew your worth and you were like, I have to do this for me no matter how much I love this person. And even though like you saw the good in him, I feel like it was just at that point where you needed to choose yourself above all else. And you should never feel guilty for putting yourself first and choosing yourself. And even if you love that person and you don't want to end things, but you know that you like should because it's what's going to be best for you, like that's a really hard thing to do. And if you are listening out there and that's something that you have done, I'm very proud of you. And if you're in a situation where you want to choose yourself but you're scared, just know that whatever is like meant to be in your life will be, and like you're so strong and you are going to get through it, like whatever you're going through. And surround yourself with friends. When I was going through my breakup, my first ever like real heartbreak with my boyfriend that I dated for, I think we dated for like 3 years in high school, but he had been my best friend since like 8th grade. So we had been in each other's lives for years. We had the same friend group, and he cheated on me in college and I broke up with him. And then I just remember like hanging out with my friends for like weeks straight. It was so much fun. And I just was like hanging out with my friends. They would all like invite me to go places because they like knew I was like going through stuff, and they were so supportive. And then I remember like out of nowhere, I just like met this guy over the summer. Remember the baseball player?
Yeah.
So I like met him because one of my friends from work was like, Maggie, let's go on a blind date. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, I'm going to go get ice cream after work with this kid who's playing baseball on the Cape, because the Cape has like a thing called the Cape Cod Baseball League. And it's a league where like all these college baseball players come and they play during the summer because they're like really good in their D1 college, whatever. I don't know. So she's like going out to ice cream with this baseball player. And I was like, okay, like that's the last thing I want to do is like, especially go with like one of those guys. Like I just know how they are. So I was like, I don't think I'm going to go. And she was like, just come with me because he's bringing a friend and I don't want to go alone. And I was like, okay, fine. And I end up going on the ice cream date with her, and we went to the beach after, and we all just like hung out and talked, and I ended up like really vibing with this guy, and him and I ended up hanging out like the rest of the summer. And I just feel like we became like really good friends, and then we ended up dating for a second. But it's just like one of those things, going back to where you have to put yourself out there. Like you really never know like what situation you're going to get yourself into unless you say yes to things.
Yeah.
So that's my story.
I love that story. Ugh.
My past relationship, like when I just went through like the most recent breakup when was it? I mean, it was in 2021. I don't know. I always get asked to talk about advice on like my breakup and how I got through it. And I really just feel like I surrounded myself with friends. And Emma, you and I like went and traveled and did so much stuff together. We would just like go and book flights and like go places. And I ended up meeting like so many new friends that summer and just did so many things that I normally wouldn't have done. And I'm definitely just like very grateful for those experiences. So yeah. Let's transition now into any last like pieces of relationship advice that you have before we get into the listener questions. Is there any advice you have for people out there listening?
I would just have to say have fun with it. And at the beginning, don't think of it like too deep and don't overthink things, and just like truly have fun and be yourself. I'm not kidding. Ever since I stopped like caring and I'm just like go into things without taking it too seriously and without thinking way too deep. I've had the most fun and I've had the most success with relationships is when I'm just like carefree myself and having fun.
Yeah, and I also feel like just like take the pressure off, because whoever you're meant to be with is gonna like you for you.
Yeah, for you. And also, one thing that I would have to say is make sure that you are truly okay being alone and like happy with yourself before getting into another relationship, because then you'll just like depend on that other person for happiness and like depend on them like for day to day like being with them all the time if you're not okay with like being alone. I feel like I am so okay with being alone. Like I literally live alone. I do everything alone. So like when I get into relationships, I'm not like dependent on my relationship.
Yeah. It's definitely important to be like independent and have your own life and your own hobbies and stuff. So when you do get into a relationship with somebody, like you complement each other and you like rise up together. I don't know. I'm just such a believer in the fact that what's meant for you won't pass you. Like put everything else aside. I just feel like in life with a lot of things, I try to just like let go of trying to control things, and I only really like control what I can control, and I just try to like let go and let what's gonna happen. So I just definitely think that with relationships, like you don't ever want to force anything. You don't ever want to force like friendships, relationships, anything like that, because I just feel like it's obviously not like flowing for a reason. And if you are like single and dating and you're like trying to look for like the right person or like the one, I just think that completely letting go and just living your best, like most authentic life and just doing exactly like what you want to do, I swear that person's like going to get drawn to you.
Yeah, I agree. Let's move on to questions.
Okay, moving on to the follower Q&A. I think we should start with this one, just for fun. Dating, athletes versus non-athletes. I think you should answer this
funny.
one, Emma. Well, I just feel like it's funny because
this one.
You've dated a lot of athletes and I've dated a lot of guys that are not athletes.
No, I have not dated a lot of athletes. 2.
I know, but I feel like you've gone on dates with quite a few.
I've gone on dates with some, but I've actually physically been with one, honestly, at the end of the day. But in my opinion, athletes versus non-athletes. I like an athletic person. I like someone who is an athlete because they play, like not just because they play a sport, but like they have drive, they are hardworking, they have hobbies of their own, they have things that they like, things that they are interested in, and like they have their own life already. So that's my point. They don't have to be like a pro athlete or anything. Like they can be just past athlete or whatever. Just someone who has played a sport in their life, just because I mean most athletes like to work out. They like to like be healthy and stuff like that, which I just like in a person. But on the pro athlete stance, I just do not think it is worth dating a pro athlete at all. I think that professional athletes think that they are on top of the world sometimes, unless you find a good one that's like a genuine guy, but that's very, 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 very hard to do unless you find them when you're in high school and then you're with them all throughout high school and like forever. But I just think that a lot of pro athletes think that they have like the world in their hands, and even if they have a girlfriend or like someone that they're with, they still talk to other girls and they're not trustworthy at all. And I also don't want to be with someone who is in every single girl's likes on Instagram. Like I think that's such an ick for me. If I see girls that I'm even just like friends with, not like my best friends, I don't care if they are friends with my best friends, but like girls that I know, like if you're in every single girl's likes on Instagram, like pipe down, you know, like chill out. That's like really embarrassing. And every girl's DMs, like please.
And it's when you click who they follow and you go through and it's like literally girl. You're like, whoa, okay.
Some of them, like, it's not even like a normal it's like Instagram baddie, like ass out on Instagram wearing lingerie. I'm like, you want to bring that home to your mom? Like, go for it. But anyway, nothing against that. Like, do you like, but then there's a difference between like non-athletes. Like sometimes there's like guys that are, I don't know, there's something about every guy. I feel like there's some guys that are just But then there's some guys that are really, really nice, and I don't even know what I'm trying to say. There's nothing against someone who is an athlete and someone who isn't an athlete, but I just do like someone who has drive, basically.
Yeah, but a no to like dating a professional athlete.
But no to dating a pro.
Yeah.
Like in the MLB, NFL, NHL like type thing, because they just are not trustworthy.
Yeah, I agree.
I like the one that is, what does love mean to you?
I was literally just going to say that. The question, what does love mean to you? What does it mean to you?
Love to me is the feeling of home.
And just the feeling of like a big, tight, like hug.
Yeah, when I am in love with someone, I feel like that person just feels like home to me. And love is just like such a happy thing that like I love being in love. And it's also such a scary thing at sometimes. But yeah, love to me is just like home. If someone feels like home to me, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. And like the word love, I feel like reminds me a lot of like comfort and just, okay, this is like my analogy. Comfort and like wearing no makeup and like having your skincare done and like wearing like a gray hoodie with gray sweatpants and a cozy pair of socks and like being cuddly under a blanket. That's like what love reminds me of. Like with a boy,
I agree.
You guys are just like so happy and you know that you can just like call him with anything and he'll pick up the phone and be there for you, like help you with whatever you need. Love also has a lot to do with like trust and respect, and honestly, I think putting your own like ego to the side also.
Yeah.
I don't know, in relationships so much I've seen just like some people have such a hard time like putting their ego to the side and like they always need to be right, when really it's like relationships at least have taught me so much about myself, where they've made me like really take a step back and evaluate like things about me, you know? Like if something that your partner does like upsets you, or something that you do upsets your partner, and then just like being able to like take a step back and like realize like, wow, I was wrong. I don't know. I feel like love is just a lot of different things.
I agree.
Okay, I have another question that I liked. What dating advice has Emma given to Maggie and Maggie given to Emma? Like that stands out. Have I given you any advice?
The one thing that I listen to you about and what you've told me is like I mean, I don't really honestly listen to you about it that much. Like it doesn't bother me when you say it, but it bothers me when you say it because I know you're right, but I don't want you to be right. But it's that like something, what is it that you say? Like love will find you, but like, and it won't pass you. Like if it's meant to be.
Like what's meant to be will be, what's meant for you won't pass you.
Yeah, which is, you're so right. And I tell my friends that, and I also agree with that. And I think of that in certain relationships, but there's some relationships where like, no, like I want it to work. So it's like, I don't want it to pass me. I know that now.
Yeah, it's hard, but it's just one of those things where you have to kind of just like let go, like I've been saying. Surrender.
Yeah.
And let it be, because what's meant for you also will always come back.
True. They always come back, but yeah.
Sometimes for the wrong reasons. What advice have you given me in my relationships, or like relationship advice? I feel like I don't really know.
I feel like I've given you a lot of advice with relationships.
I feel like you have,
like, I feel like if anything, like I really can like sense things in your relationships, and I just know what's right for you always.
Thank you. Thank you, sister. I just feel like you were like very helpful with me when I was going through like my breakup. Like when I went through a breakup last year, I went on certain dates and like did certain things that like I normally would never have done. Like I felt like a grandma, you know what I mean? Like I had been in a relationship for 5 years and I break up with my boyfriend because things are just like not working out, and we had been trying to make it work for so long and it just like wasn't working. And so I'm single at 20, how old was I? 24?
Yeah.
Why am I acting like I was so old? First of all, I was literally 24.
You'd be like going out, like I'm not going out with you. I would be like, okay, like sure.
You were there and gave me like the advice to just like be more free and live my life free. You know, like you would be like, okay, let's go here. Like remember that time that we went to the Grand and we had the best night?
Oh my God, yeah. Like we just had so much fun. Live your life rather than just like being at home and being sad and lonely.
Yeah, and you also like encouraged me to say yes to so many more things. Like when I went on like my date, remember my date that I went on? Like you were like, come on, Maggie, like just go. He's mutual friends with
What date?
The one who's mutual friends with our friends.
Yeah.
Like, obviously he's still our friend, but we had a lot of mutual friends and you were like, oh my God, you should go. And I was like, wait, actually, okay, I will. And then I ended up going and it was so much fun. I just feel like you're very like encouraging just to like have fun and put yourself out there.
Because you didn't lose anything except now you can look back and be like, oh my God, we had so much fun during that time.
Yeah, I literally didn't lose anything
At all.
But okay, and that is everything that we have for you guys today. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And if you sent questions in, thank you so much for doing that. Make sure to rate the podcast 5 stars if you like the show. And also make sure to subscribe, listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And as always, you can follow me on Instagram, Maggie McDonald on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all those social media platforms.
And you can find me under Emma McDonald on same thing, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, every platform. And we will see you guys next week.
Love you.
Ya.
Bye.
Bye.